Hi Gemini, welcome to your roast video. I finally got a chance to do it. This video is for the Gemini videos. This video is part 3 of 3, and this is the roast video. This is going to be the roast of Gemini. Now, like I said in a previous video, this video is probably going to be one of the longest videos that I've ever done. I'm sorry, Gemini. I'm sorry. Well, not really sorry. You should be sorry for many reasons, more than likely. You should be sorry. But I'm sorry that this is going to be one of the longest videos that I've probably ever done for the Roast of Gemini. And there are so many things that I have to touch bases on. I actually had to make a list. I'm not kidding you. There it is. There's the list. And I've got my trusty pen here, and I got my list, and we're just gonna go down the list of the many flaws of Gemini. Um, so I want to start off by saying, Gemini. First of all, if I was you, I would take a deep breath, and get as much oxygen in your lungs as you possibly can, and because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it, Gemini. I would also suggest that you take a seat, that you sit down, because you're going to need to be sitting down for this, Gemini, and you're going to need as much oxygen in your lungs as you possibly can get. Okay, so let's begin, shall we? Let's get started off with one of the most common traits that Gemini is known for, and it is a horrible trait, and it's that whole two-faced personality thing. Some days they like you, some days they don't. Depends on what kind of mood they're in. Then they come home and they're abusive, either verbally, physically abusive to their spouses, to their kids, to their so-called friends, to anybody. Gemini will be abusive to anybody. They don't care. Depends on what kind of mood they're in. And I've known Geminis that will ruin, absolutely destroy relationships with their children, with their spouses, with their friends, with their family, with anybody. Gemini single-handedly brings down relationships. They do that. And it's all because of their jealousy. Extreme jealousy. Now, you'll probably say, oh, well, Ken, you talked about jealousy before. You talked about it in the Taurus video. You keep repeating yourself and you... No. Yeah, I did mention that in a Taurus video before. Yeah, but Taurus is different. Taurus, they are extremely jealous. But Taurus is jealous in like a more quiet, silent way. Like Taurus will be like, okay. Okay. And Taurus will secretly be jealous of you, but not Gemini. Not Gemini. No. Not Gemini. Gemini will be blatantly in your face jealous in the things that they do, the relationships that Gemini destroys. They absolutely destroy relationships with people, which is fueled by their jealousy. And a typical Gemini, will deny their jealousy until the cows come home. And that's fine, but that doesn't mean that you're not jealous, Gemini, because you know that you are. I know you are, and so do you. Okay? Next, judgmental. Now, they say that the air signs are not judgmental. I personally have my own experience where Gemini has absolutely cut me out of their life because they are so judgmental, because they don't like me, because they don't like the things I do, because they don't like the people I hang around with, because they don't like the way that I sort of go about my life and the things that I like doing. And they say that with Gemini being an air sign ruled by the planet of Mercury, they say, oh, Geminis are so accepting. Geminis, they're so wonderful. No. Yeah, well, that's obviously to the stupid people that Gemini has fooled. Because Geminis are anything but accepting. I've known many Geminis. Many Geminis. And like I may have said in a previous video, the majority of Geminis in my life are my own family and closest friends. Like, I literally got stuck with these crazy bastards. Like, I got stuck with them. I got stuck with them. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so judgmental. I mean, I've known Geminis. One Gemini very, very close to me. I'm not going to say who this person is. But this person lets on that he's a Christian. Oh, I'm a Christian. I go to church. And this person tried to force me as a child to go to church to be a better person. Meanwhile, Gemini was breaking every single rule, breaking every single commandment in the book, one by one. And if he did it once, he did it 3 or 4 times. Why not? And then at the end, and then on Sunday, he goes to church and he lets on, oh, I'm so religious and I'm a big Christian. Meanwhile, he's doing all kinds of dirt and doing all kinds of shit behind people's backs. Okay. Geminis are also troublemakers. So Gemini is going to be the one that's going to be far off in the corner doing this. Stirring the pot. Stirring up the shit. Stirring up the nonsense. That's Gemini. Gemini is going to be causing trouble and stirring up shit behind your back. And don't think that a Gemini is not going to say some nasty shit behind your back, because I happen to know for a fact that that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. I've heard Geminis behind closed doors talking with their family, me, or whoever else, and Gemini is saying some nasty shit. Gemini is saying some horrible things about people behind their back. And then when they see that person in person, face to face, Gemini is like, oh, how you doing? How's it going? Yeah. Fakers. Fakers. And y'all know it too. So there's the whole troublemaker thing, and then there's jealousy. Jealousy, jealousy, jealousy with Geminis. I don't know, other than Taurus, there really is no other sign in the Zodiac family who reacts and single-handedly, I think I've said this before, who single-handedly destroys relationships with their children, with everybody, because of their jealousy. And because they have this way like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. Oh, no, no, no. It should be like this. It should be like that. It has to be done like this. Like, Gemini is just absolutely insane when it comes to that. And yeah, Gemini, they tend to break any relationship that Gemini has with people. Not every time. I'm not saying every time. But a lot of times, from what I've seen, relationships just go south. Because Gemini is so incredibly jealous. Personally, my family, I'm just speaking from my own experience. My own family is all split up. Everybody's all split up. And they're all Geminis. Because this one hates this one for this. And this one hates this one for that. And none of them will give in. None of them will apologize. And that's another thing. The words, I am sorry, I was wrong. You will never hear those words pass a Gemini's lips. Ever. I'm sorry, I was wrong. 5 words. I'm sorry, I was wrong. 5 words. You will never hear those words pass a Gemini's lips. And it's not like an apology is not in order, because it sure as hell is. Gemini. Yeah. Also, Gemini is not easy to work with. Gemini, they're just not easy to work with. And it all comes down to, like I just said a minute ago, Gemini has this thing in their head implanted in their brain, like, this is how it should be. This is how it's supposed to be. It can't possibly be any other way. Oh my God, I can't handle it. That's Gemini. Just a minute. Just a moment. Yeah, Gemini. There I go again. I'm vaping. Something for you to judge. Anyway, let's move on to my list of celebrities, because as I do in all the um, roast videos, I talk about celebrities, and I like to use some as an example just to keep things entertaining. So let's start off with Leah Remini. Leah Remini. Now, Leah Remini, she's actually one of the few Geminis, and I actually kind of love her in a way because she has fully admitted that she's a troublemaker. She's a troublemaker. And didn't she write a book? I think she did. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But I think she wrote a book called, was it Trouble, or I'm Trouble, or Troublemaker, or something like that. So Leah Remini has actually admitted that she's a troublemaker, and she is, and she's a Gemini. And Leah Remini actually, if you do the research, I'm sure a lot of you probably know, Leah Remini is the one who basically went out of her way to bring the Church of Scientology to their knees. And she went to extreme lengths to exploit the Church of Scientology and Scientology as a religion in general. And one thing that should that should be noted was that she crashed one of the weddings of Jennifer Lopez. I forget who she was marrying at the time. Um, but yeah, Leah Remini was actually friends with J Lo at the time, and at the wedding, she crashed the wedding. And Leah Remini's intention was that there was some guy that was within the Church of Scientology, and he had a wife, and the Church of Scientology basically was trying to hide this woman for years, you know. And Leah Remini, she knew exactly what was going on with this woman. She knew that the Church of Scientology was trying to hide this woman, and nobody had ever heard from her. So what did Leah Remini do? Troublemaker, Gemini. What did Leah Remini do? Well, I'll tell you what she did. She'll tell you herself. She went to the police, she went to the FBI, and actually filed a missing she filed a missing persons claim, and she wanted the FBI and the police to investigate as to what happened to this woman. Yeah, Leah Remini. I love Leah Remini. By the way, if you don't know who Leah Remini is, then you've probably been living in a cave for the last 30 years or so. Yeah, she was Carrie on the hit TV sitcom King of Queens. But she earlier in her career, she got started out. She made a couple of appearances on the TV show Cheers back in the 1980s. But she's more popularly known for being Carrie Heffernan in The King of Queens. Excuse me. So that's Leah Remini. I'll let you guys, if you don't know about that, I'll let you guys look that up. The next one is Marilyn Monroe. Excuse me. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe. So I mean, Marilyn Monroe's obviously passed away, but Marilyn Monroe is another one. She's another Gemini that got herself into trouble. She got involved with the Kennedys. She knew too much. The Kennedys gave her some information about their secret of empire and everything. And I think the biggest mistake that Marilyn Monroe made was that appearance that was broadcasted live on television. And she basically made the world know. She knew exactly what she was doing. She made the world know that she was having an affair with President Kennedy when she did that sexy "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you." And she was all over him, and this was broadcasted all over the country. It was broadcasted all over the world. And that was a really, really big mistake on Marilyn Monroe's behalf. But that's just an example of how she caused trouble for herself and for other people. And in the end, she ended up getting herself killed because the Kennedys killed her. Yeah, the Kennedys killed Marilyn Monroe because she knew too much and because she was towards the end of her life, she was threatening, and that's another Gemini trait right there, threatening people. And she threatened the Kennedys that she would expose them and that she would bring down the entire empire because she knew things. Marilyn Monroe knew things about the Kennedys that nobody else in the world knew. So what did they do? They killed her. Yeah, that's what they did. Another Gemini celebrity is Mike Myers. Mike Myers is probably more popularly known for Wayne's World and Austin Powers, which Austin Powers, I actually never really cared for those films, to be honest with you. I never liked those Austin Powers movies. I thought they were kind of stupid myself. But anyway, about Mike Myers, Gemini. Mike Myers, I mean, where is he now? He should be on that show. Where is he now? Because nobody really knows. Nobody really knows what Mike Myers is up to now. A lot of people that have worked with him have found him extremely difficult and very, very unpleasant to work with. Major production film companies like Paramount, Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, Columbia, a lot of people, they don't even want to hire him anymore. They don't want to go anywhere near him because directors have had a very difficult time working with him. They found him to be very temperamental on the set. Yeah, Mike Myers, he's another temperamental Gemini. Laverne Cox, I'm going to mention Laverne Cox because Laverne Cox is a trans female. So Laverne Cox was at one time a man. The reason I'm mentioning Laverne Cox is because that's an example of Gemini in a more extreme situation. As I mentioned in a previous video about Gemini men being in touch with their feminine side. Yeah. So Laverne Cox is a Gemini. Another Gemini is Anderson Cooper. Clearly in touch with his feminine side. Apparently he's a homosexual. So Anderson Cooper is another example of Gemini male being in touch with their feminine side. And last but not least, this roast would not be complete if we didn't talk about Kanye. Yeah, Kanye West. Need I say more? Do I really? Do I really need to say anything more? Is there anybody on planet Earth that doesn't think that we need to pick up our phone? We need to pick up our phone and call the psych ward and have Kanye West taken away and have him, placed in a facility where they can hook up his brain and they can do a test and find out what exactly is going on in the brain of Kanye West. He's I mean this man just feels that he is I don't know. It's Kanye West and he's a Gemini. So there you go. I mean I find myself wondering at the end of the day what in the hell is going on inside your head, Gemini? What's going on inside your head? I wish I knew. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I was going to touch base on a little bit more on the abuse that Geminis subject their children to and their family and their friends. But I'm not going to get into too much more detail about that. I see this video is already almost 20 minutes long. YouTube's probably going to give me a hard time about that already. So anyway, that's my roast of Gemini, everybody. And thank you, Gemini, for watching if you're a Gemini. And I'll just wait for your apology. Okay? I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for your apology. That is very much necessary. Thanks for watching, Gemini. Take care.